President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has expressed optimism, saying the worst is over as Nigeria shows signs of economic recovery. In a national address marking Nigeria's 65th Independence Day, the president said that recent growth, lower inflation, trade surpluses, and increased oil production highlights progress from bold reforms. Tinubu defended his administration's decision to scrap fuel subsidies and unify the foreign exchange rate, moves that triggered inflation and widespread public anger, but said these were necessary to reset the economy. Oftentimes, during testing moments, many analysts have described Nigeria as a political creation designed to take care of the economic interests of our colonial master, Great Britain. They usually pointed at deliberate efforts by the then colonial government to develop infrastructure for easy access to farming commodities, and the fact that when oil was discovered in 1956 at Oloibiri in present-day Bayelsa State, the white men dropped every pretense at administration and embarked on grabbing as much as they could before a new generation of smart aleck Nigerians took over. With the celebration of Nigeria's 65th independence now in the past, I'm now being joined by Kawonise, a journalist, entrepreneur, public affairs analyst, and a compressed natural gas expert. You are now into CNG. So share his thoughts on Nigeria's lost opportunities and what must be celebrated about the nation as a journey to nationhood gathers pace. Good afternoon.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ruben Abati, for having me again. I was here exactly 5 months ago. 5 months ago? 5 months ago.
Okay, well, you are here at a good time when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu told Nigerians that the worst is over, that the country has turned a corner, and that things are much better because the reform introduced by this administration, all those reforms are working and yielding fruits to both local and international acclaim. Now, there are some people who say that no, whatever President Tinubu was saying was fictitious. The PDP, for example, People's Democratic Party, for example, the spokesperson for former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, the Center for Public-Private Enterprises Promotion, and a host of other Nigerians who say, well, yes, all these figures, GDP growth by 4.3%, inflation down to 20.12% as of August 2025, foreign reserves exceeding $43 billion. The people say they can't see the effect in their lives. The president also talked about improvement in security, in agriculture, in coal mining, in oil exploration. Now 1.68 million barrels per day, we're told. Well, what do you think? What are your thoughts?
Yeah.
Have we turned the corner? Are we doing better?
Nigeria has indeed turned the corner. This time, the last time I was here, I was very critical of the reform. Not those economic policies per se, but their timing and the manner of implementation, the onset, it could have been better. But indeed, we have turned the corner. And as a newspaper publisher, I fact-checked. I told my staff to fact-check all the 12 points that the president mentioned in terms of the economic indices that are improving and all of that, and every single one was found to be correct, to be true. We did. And incidentally, 2 days after that, Premium Times also did that and said all the 12 points that the president said were true. You know my own position concerning the economic policy and what the way it's been implemented. But this time around, the president was right. Where they indeed bearing fruit. I buy foodstuff in bulk. I'm saying that, publicly here for orphanages that we support, that my own foundation supports. This month that we did, I think we save about 25%. Every month, I buy this food that we take to orphanages, around us,
Could it be that the children in the orphanages are not eating as much as they used to?
They are actually more. They are bringing them every day. So even in terms of the market prices, we see this thing, and I saw it and I'm confirming it. You know, if you mention rice, it was very, I mean, I bought the bag of beans that I bought about 120,000 naira for 85,000 this month. 70 Congos. And rice, everything, the vegetable oil, virtually everything went down. So I can confirm that all the points, the 12 points that the president mentioned this time around, they were all true. So in terms of macroeconomic indices, in terms of even the micro, the effect that these things have, you know, on the ordinary people.
You are saying PDP, the Article group, and other people, that they are playing politics.
It's politics now, but Ruben, you know now.
Maybe they probably go to a different market.
They are not going to a different market, but it is just the nature of politics. No matter what your opponent is doing, you know, we have the opportunity, you know, you and I, we've contested before, but we are no longer in politics. We can see things, and then as professionals, we can see things, you know, as they are. A lot of people, you know, contact me and say, Ruben, your friend who has been settled somewhere, why is he supporting the government and all of these things? When you see things, actually, I got some reports last Sunday when you brought this Ogoni people. They said, why are you so vehement, you know, defending the government and all of that? What do they? I said, no, that is the nature of our work. If you are saying, if the government is done something, you will see it. If it has not done well, we are going to come here to say it. So, but on this issue, this broadcast, I think we are taking the president right.
Okay. The president said he's giving a message of hope, and a call to action.
Yeah.
But when you were here 5 months ago, you were complaining about fraud with the management of the compressed
PSNGI
natural gas, presidential initiative on compressed natural gas.
Yes.
And then you said even the kits, CNG kits, were not available in the market.
They were taken to them to the black market. They are stealing. They are funneling them there.
So what is the situation now? The president said oil production has increased 1.68 million barrels, but it looks like something has not improved in the area in which you are involved in that oil and gas sector.
That is one area that I'm surprised that they didn't even mention. The area where the president has achieved most, I would say, is in the gas sector. And I'm going to give you the numbers and I'm going to prove it, you know. So, but before we go into those numbers, concerning the PCNGI, I'm very grateful to the president. Immediately, perhaps the president watched that program and he swung into action. The following day, Zach Adediji, the chairman of Federal Inland Revenue Service, who was the chairman of the PCNGI at that time, immediately invited me and we sat down. Sir, what is the problem? And all of that. And these are the problems. I laid everything on the table. And of course, he now invited Mr. Toyin Subaru. That's one very incredibly competent and, you know, resourceful Nigerian that is helping the president. I think he says it to the president on special duties and domestic affairs. We started down and they said, what are the problems? And I'm reporting today, every single item that I pointed out has been taken care of. Number one, those boys have been taken away. You know, they've appointed someone that is a little bit more, that we have seen, you know, more resourceful and is reorganizing that place. The fraud has stopped. I'm reporting that. The president actually gave that mandate that it should be done. And in fact, the way they responded, and it's just incredible. In fact, something quite un-Nigerian. And Zach called me. Sir, what are we going to do? Apart from taking care of all of those problems, they asked me for a blueprint. How do we solve this problem? Which I gave to them. And they're implementing all of these things. They are part of the huge, you know, mileage that this country has made. I'm going to give the numbers, you know, when we get into that. But about the fraud going on there has been effectively stopped. Okay. And in fact, even the FCC, from some of the reports, they got about 600,000 in the account of one of their fronts, and all of that is being frozen. Investigations are still continue.
Okay.
May not be, I may not be able to give you more details about that.
I think Arise News should share part of the credit, or should take the credit for giving you the platform to blow the whistle that resulted in important people in the corridors of power inviting you to come and share your views.
But you and I, we are not even very far from there. We have access. We've always had access. Ruben, we've always had access.
But if you have access, if you don't have platform, so, there's something missing there.
So, let me put it on record. It is the kind of officials that the president has put in the gas sector particularly. I can't tell much about the petroleum sector. They are just incredible guys, incredible, very committed patriots.
Okay, despite this...
Tony, especially, the TS, you call him TS, he's been working as a
despite this praise, people who have converted their vehicles to compressed natural gas, they still can't get stations where they can get this compressed natural gas. The same plight with people who are having issues with electric vehicles, although most of these vehicles are hybrid vehicles. So has there been any improvement in terms of access to the gas itself?
The situation perhaps is even worse now. But in terms of the quantum of gas available, we have much more. But remember, after I came here was when Dangote brought in thousands of these vehicles, of these trucks, that were not there. For context, let me explain what Dangote has done. Now, that single truck that we are looking at, that we are seeing, has 16 cylinders of 260 liters each. So each of those trucks takes about 4,160 liters of water capacity. In terms of gas, that is more than 1,000 standard cubic meter. Now, the vehicles that we convert, we normally install about 65 liters cylinder in those vehicles for commercial vehicles, cars, and all of those things. So one of those trucks will fill up 64 of these little cars. So what Dangote has done has put pressure. It's a very good thing. It's a very good problem that he has created. So even though the quantum of gas available has increased, it is as if it has not increased because of now more widespread adoption, more demand that we are having. As Dangote is bringing, Dangote Cement is also bringing NNPC. As we are coming from just before Ishara, you see one massive, land they just fenced around. NNPC at every point has about not less than 500, between 500 and 1,000 of these trucks using compressed natural gas. Now, all those ones were not there when I was here 5 months ago. So in terms of availability, it's as if there's more scarcity, even though the gas production and gas availability has increased. So we are actually having a very good problem on our hand, and that is where we really need to come. Now, for context, by the time this administration came into power in 2023, Nigeria was flaring up to 28% of associated gas. We have two types of gas, associated gas and non-associated gas. The associated gas is the one that comes when in drilling crude oil. So 28% of that, more, was still being flared. As we speak today, less than 70% of that is now. And that is even when gas production has increased by about 58%. Only 7% of that is being flared. Now, as at the last report that LUPRC gave about 2 months ago, they reported that gas utilization in Nigeria now is about 92%. 7%, about 77% less being flared. And then, of course, you now have non-associated gas being produced. All of this, incidentally, ironically, as direct outcome of the removal of fuel subsidy. Now, there's also one point that the people who gave the president, the speechwriter, missed out. Power generation has increased phenomenally. How? This is something that Adebayo Adelabu is actually not, maybe he's not even aware, because I have a little problem with his own competence about that sector. We are going to talk about that later. Now, the gas utilization that we are talking about that has increased because people are now generating their own power. Go to that axis between Lagos and Ogun State, as we are moving. You see a lot of these industries now are no longer relying on the national grid. They are now generating their power, and they are using gas to do that.
Look, we've been talking about gas flaring for more than 2-3 decades. Yeah. Gas flaring will end by the year 2005. Gas flaring will end by the year 1990. Gas flaring will end by the year 2010. But there's still gas flaring.
7%.
Associated gas.
Yeah.
You say it's 7%, and that's the question. In a country where, in the oil and gas sector, nothing is accurately measured. We just have estimates. What is the guarantee? All those gas flares in the Niger Delta, they have not stopped. There is still the challenge of environmental pollution. And that is why the people of the Niger Delta are still saying government is not doing enough to address the threat to the environment in their areas. So where did you pull that 7% from?
It's not by one data.
How was it calculated?
It's just like we are asking now that how does the National Bureau of Statistics get its own numbers, its own something? We just have to rely on
of their figures.
Now, what the regulator there, these are the figures that and we can even bear witness to these things because we are operators in this sector. Gas flaring has reduced because it's not even enough. That's what we are saying. And that is actually an issue that must be addressed very, very urgently. The last time I came here, one of the things that came out, I was talking about maybe the government were housing money in a bank of withdrawals for those. I was not even aware there was a very, very, critical agency, midstream and downstream gas infrastructure fund. It was TS, Toyin, that drew my attention to it. It's part of Petroleum Industry Act that the late President Buhari signed into law in 2021. What does MDGI do? What does it do? They support the development of gas infrastructure. For instance, I'm trying to build a CNG mother station in Ogun State. That is going to cost about in excess of about 25 billion naira. It's actually what we are doing now. The same company, the same manufacturer that are doing that of Dangote in the refinery is also the one that is doing my own. So what we are saying is that, we are utilizing gas far more now. In terms of power generation, it has increased phenomenally.
Maybe in Ibadan.
No. Let me tell you.
Maybe in your part of Ibadan.
No. Let me tell you. I'm going to give you the numbers. Look at the GDP, the last GDP numbers for the second quarters. Manufacturing moved from 14.3 to 17.5. How? Why? Because of more power availability. These are the things I read in the Punch today. When the Nigerian Society of Engineers were saying that the power sector remained the same, it is not. The thing is that these things are happening informally. It's not through the national grid, Ruben.
We have DGs of Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprise, all the unions, Pengasan recently, Nupeng recently. That's not what they are saying.
No, look, what I'm saying is this. When President Bola Tinubu said we have turned the corner, that doesn't mean that we are now back to where he took over from. But things are improving from where they were before. When he took over, all the crises, the inflation and all of that. That's what the president was saying. And what we are saying is that it's not that the rice has now gone back to 33,000 naira when he came back, or gone back to 8,000 naira when President Goodluck Jonathan was going. That's not what we are saying. When we are talking of power, there's still a lot of gap, a lot of shortage. But what I'm saying is that there is a whole lot of improvement. I'm not a government official. The government does not pay me, and I don't need anything other than to give us an enabling environment for us to do our business, which this government is providing in terms of gas utilization. Okay. That's what I'm telling you. Okay. I came here 5 months ago and I said these things, throughout that interview. I was saying that this was a good call by the president, that this compressed natural gas thing, it was a good policy call. And I'm still on it. And it's actually bearing fruit, as I'm telling you.
Okay. This midstream and downstream gas infrastructure fund that you referred to, are you aware that some people are saying that the proceeds. I think they quoted about 256.8 billion naira money that have accrued under that fund. But there is a lobby by some interested parties that accrual should be put into the federation account and shared. And yet you are saying the MDGIF is meant for the development of gas infrastructure.
Okay, now let me.
They are saying money that is saved from wherever, whether it's midstream or downstream or SS crude account, should go straight into the federation account and should be shared to the states.
Now let me give you the background to that. As I said, it was Mr. Subaru that even drew my attention to it, and I went into the law that set it up. It's part of Petroleum Industry Act. What does that law say? Now, what they are saying is that 0.5% of all crude production in Nigeria, petroleum processing, whether imported or all of that, they will take the value of that and put in that special account, to promote gas infrastructure. Because now, development of gas infrastructure is something that is very capital intensive that the normal commercial bank will not even provide. Is it like 36%? They are not going to do it. The kind of thing that I'm doing now, I have support, internationally. My partners that I spoke about, they are there to put the money there. And we are planning on doing. So what the MDGIF was set up to do was to take this money to promote and support gas infrastructure fund. In fact, the blueprint that I gave to ZAC and TS, they are the ones they've been implementing, and between the time I came here and now, they've done a lot of daughter stations. Now, daughter stations are where you go to fill up your gas. Mother stations are the one filling this. So what MDGI does is to provide the fund for all of this. So the figure that we gave, 256.5 billion, that was what was collected in the first half of this year. It was in Punch of August 27 or something that reported it. That was just for the first half. Now, this fund had been accruing since the signing of PIA in 2021, Petroleum Industrial Act of 2021. It was President Bola Tinubu that now set up the Governing Council to implement this. The money had been sitting there in the central bank. They were not doing anything there. So that's another achievement of this president that I'm talking about. It was January.
So you don't want the president to share the money?
No, what I'm saying is that it cannot even be shared. It's set up by law. Part of the revenue is to, number one, from this 0.5, and then again, penalty for gas flaring. Nobody can take that money. It's not even enough. Because, this thing is very capital intensive. And it's only MDGI. And I'm telling you, when Tony mentioned it to me, I went there. You guys, what are you doing here? And I met very wonderful professionals, led by the ED by Wole Adama, somebody who's been in the industry for about 30 years. And I've been speaking with them. I've been looking at what they are doing. It is fantastic. I didn't even know the kind of rubber stamp National Assembly that was under Lawan did that kind of very beautiful law. It's there. That fund is there. Okay. If you are in the gas sector and you cannot lie about it. If you are not there, you are not there, because the requirements are really very stringent. So that fund, if anybody, I heard about it. I was praising the ZAC. I learned that it is ZAC that ZAC should not do it. That is now going to convince the president.
Zacchaeus, tax collector.
If he does it, he's going to pay restitution times 4, like Zacchaeus in the Bible that says he can't even take it because it's by law. Because I cannot blame him. His own something is to look for revenue for the president. 68% of all revenue last year was used in debt servicing. The president reported that it has come down to 50%, but that's still a lot. So the government needs a lot of money, and Zacchaeus is the one. So, but they cannot touch this one because this one was set up by law, and the money is not even if they have 4 trillion, it's not enough.
Okay, as we begin to wrap up, in May when you were here, you were full of complaints that CNG kits were being negatively impacted. Some people were carrying out fraud. Then you met with the chairman of...
former chairman. He's no longer the chairman. He has relinquished the position now.
So, but he's in charge of FIR.
Now.
And you met with the special assistant to the president on special duties and domestic affairs. And they tried to address the problem.
Yeah.
So do we take it now that the CNG kits problem has been solved, and that you are no longer well, everybody can see that you are no longer complaining.
I'm still complaining.
No. But you are smiling to the bank. And now you are fighting for downstream, midstream and downstream infrastructure fund. And you say you are building a factory in Ogun State. That means you want to smile more.
No, Ruben, thank you for that. I actually want to smile to the bank. Only that you have not started. Now, because
the way you are praising government.
No. We have to do it. This makes us credible, and so that next time they will listen to us, that we are not just critics for critics' sake. If you see what is happening, the achievement should actually be 13. Because I was mentioning about the power improvement in power sector. Because these factories now are generating their own power using CNG generators. Some of them were converted and they're using 40% diesel and 60% gas.
That's what I'm saying. You are getting good patronage.
No, what I'm saying is there is not even gas. Like what I'm doing now, I've not been able to even get gas purchase agreement with NNPC Gas Marketing Limited. I've applied, they wanted to come to my site. I'm still using this opportunity because we need to sign the gas purchase agreement because it's just not there. Okay. So now that is why I'm advocating and I'm pleading that nothing must happen to the fund because that is with MDGIF. Because what we even need now is gas processing. And if MDGF had 10 trillion naira, it will still not be enough to process enough gas to feed us. I'm building a mother station. Is it not because when you now have gas in the pipeline that I will even get the supply, which is not enough now?
Okay, very good. By way of summary, you have commended President Tinubu. You have praised the 12 major...
I didn't praise it. I just fact-checked and they said they are all true.
Okay. They are the major 12 points in his speech.
In his speech.
Now you have said...
that it actually should be 13. Okay. Because power generation, or what am I saying, power supply, but it's not in the national grid of that 5,000, miserable 5,000 they've been doing since Obasanjo time. Okay. It's in the hand and it's there. The manufacturers will actually, testify to it.
By way of summary, what do you think should be the priorities in that gas sector going forward for the Tinubu administration?
Yeah, it is processing.
By way of summary.
It is processing that we need now. We need, because like I said, you have two types of gas. The associated gas, which comes with crude oil, and non-associated gas. That is a lot. Is there? Imo State has the largest proven reserve. They should go into that, and it's only MDGF that can partner with existing companies, to do all of these things. So, and that is why it just must not happen that somebody wants to sweep into the federation account. If ZAC is looking for money, he should look beyond that. He can't touch it. If he does it, he will make restitution 4 times as it happened with ZAC, the biblical ZAC, the senior ZAC in the Bible.
Anyway, thank you very much, Mr. Shino Kawonise, for joining us again on This Day Live, the Sunday talk show. We hope that when we invite you again, maybe in another 5 months,
okay,
you will have more positive stories.
Yeah, that's our prayer. That's our prayer. Thank you very much, Ruben, for having me again.
Thank you.